Sometimes I think we got to ask ourselves that question: do we want to stay on the shallow side of life or move to the deep end of life in which God becomes our only lifeguard?
Willing to be yourself in the sight of people, no matter what people think. I think that's what it's all about. Welcome back, all of my YouTube family. Y'all know how we do. Today I want to talk about something. I want to talk about the credit system of trucking, or the credit system of business, the credit system of life, and how important it is. I got 4 points that I want to hit with y'all today when it comes to getting more of these things over here, getting more trucks, and just really learning how to navigate when it comes to credit. See, a lot of people are scared of credit. A lot of people don't know much about credit, but credit is really the secret tool to how you get things, and how you not only get things, but how you sustain things and how you grow. So we're gonna jump straight into today's video. Hey, y'all make sure y'all like. So the first point I want to hit, I want to ask you, do you think this trailer is right here and this truck is right here? And here's the truck and here's the Corvette. Do y'all think that those things are there because of credit or debit? Do y'all think that cash money got those things? I want to ask y'all something, because a lot of times we think that cash money can make us afford our business. Cash money can make us afford our dreams. Cash money can make us afford our salvation, but it can't. It's a such thing as credit. What is credit? Credit is looked at as grace. Credit is like favor. Credit is like getting something that you can't afford so that it can fund what you want to be able to afford. Now let me break that down. See, it's a such thing as credit and debits. Credits is something that's borrowed. Debits is something that is liquid. Now, how many people can you say, when you talk about the biggest carriers, this is why 99% of the biggest carriers have utilized credit to fund the company. You see all these thousands of trucks and you say, man, they rich, they wealthy. But the thing is, they have more debt than everybody, because guess what? They borrowed more money. But to borrow more, in turn, when it's rewarding, it leads to you having more liquid cash. What's liquid cash? Liquid cash is the money that's in your bank. No company typically has more money in their bank than they have in credit or debt. Or because the thing is, in this country, the credit system is how a lot of people fund their dreams. A lot of people fund business. This is how a lot of people fund gas stations. People fund cars. But it's a good thing if you know how to utilize it. So today I want to talk about something. I want to talk about how you got to learn your credit portfolio. See, one of the things that I help people do, if you go to www.lowglobal.com, and the Legacy website, I help individuals look at their credit portfolio. And not only I do that, but I help them understand that when I think about the first car I ever got, the first car that I ever got, right? The first car I ever got was a Pontiac G6 2006. And it was 5 years ago. And I couldn't afford that car. I just was fresh out of high school. I had got my first job and I could not afford that car. I went to that dealership and guess what I did? I had insufficient funds, because that's typically what happens when it's time to fund your dreams. You have insufficient funds. But what happened was, this guy, he had faith in who I was. He had faith in what I wanted to do. And guess what he did? He gave me credit. He allowed me to utilize credit, and that's how I started to build it. And to this day, I still have that car. But why do I say that? Because looking at this Corvette right there, you understand something, that even if I did have enough liquid cash to buy it, I can't afford it. You want to know why? Because why won't I be able to utilize credit to not only build that, but also go take the rest of that money and get more assets? Because assets equal debits. But the funny thing about assets is it can also equal credit. Assets can cause you to go on farther in debt, or it can get you out of debt. See, riches in America is based off of a lot people being able to get things they can't afford, showcase lives that they really can't afford, because credit is something that allows us to do that. So the moral of the story for this video is this: why don't a lot of people have these trucks? Why can't you buy this truck? Why can't you fund this truck? A lot of people, credit is bad because people have the wrong perception of credit. Credit is a good thing. Credit is a thing. When you ask yourself, I want you to ask yourself this question: if you wanted $1 million house, how long would it take for you to work for that $1 million house? How long? Older people who watch me, watch my channel, younger people, you don't work your way. One thing you learn, you don't work your way to riches. That don't mean you don't put in work, but you work smarter, not harder. And the thing is that in order to be able to afford that $1 million home, you may have to put $100,000 down. But if you don't have $100,000 in cash, guess what? You can fund your credit. Now you can do what with that home? You can take that and afford that $1 million home. So the moral of the story is that we can't always afford our dreams, and the moral of the story is from a spiritual perspective, because the whole motive of wanting to get wealth and wanting to get rich is to have a form of freedom and wanting to be able to live a lifestyle that God put us onto this planet to live. But I say this from a spiritual perspective, let me tell you something, that spiritually, your soul, the wages of your soul, the wages of the works that we work within this lifetime, equals negative. Because every time that you think you do something good, you may have thought something bad for somebody in your heart. And every time you do good, there's a credit added to your account. Every time you do bad, there's a debit. How many of us can say that we'll probably be in negative forever if it was by works we can get our souls saved? If it was by works that I can afford a Corvette, if it was by works that I can afford the trucks. I've had one truck that I couldn't afford after 3 months of driving. I had 2 trucks that I couldn't afford, but I got with my credit, and that allowed me to reach 6 figures. So I want us to be very transparent. The reason why credit is important, because in the spiritual realm, credit is like grace. Credit is just like grace. Grace allows you to be able to get things that you know you can't afford, but that favor allows you to realize, like, man, I can really live this lifestyle, and I can't always afford it, but guess what? I can work my way to afford it if I utilize grace. That's the same thing with when you talk about God. God gives us grace every single day, and a lot of people deny that grace. You think that you can talk bad about people, that you can do wrong by people, that you can look on people as they're less than, when all in all, you're not living in nothing but the grace of God. You're not living in nothing but a credit. Because works, what salaries, typical salaries equal to, they just allow you to be at the equilibrium in life. They don't give you a surplus to where you can go out there and buy all these nice cars, and not everybody is living in a credit to our account. And then spiritually, you can't have salvation. Spiritually, your soul can't be saved. Spiritually, because see, one of the things in trucking is it's a dangerous game. People die every single day. And I hope that they got the grace and the credit of Jesus in their heart, because that's the only thing that's going to matter at the end of the day. That's the only thing that matters. None of my hard labor can ever match up to the grace God gives me to have sight, the grace God gives me to walk, the grace God gives me to talk, the grace God gives me to drive. So I come on here today and I say, learn the credit system, because the credit system is just like the grace system spiritually. We need it. It allows us to not only achieve our dreams, but it allows us to be able to get the things that we really can't afford, because those are the things that give us happiness. Those are the things that give us joy. Those are the things that give us peace. Those are the things that actually allow us to look at life from a different perspective and want to help people and want to love people and want to do right by people, because we know we can't afford it. So we help somebody else understand that, listen, but it's by grace that I got it, so I can help you get it by grace. And that's I just broke down a system of Christ. I just broke down a system of business and credit just in these few minutes that I was on here. But today I want to ask you something. Are you taking grace serious? Are you taking credit serious? Because if you're not, you'll continuously live in negative. You'll continuously think that you can never reach the level of wealth that you may have in your head. You may never think that it's owed to you. But I'm gonna tell you like this: it's by grace. It's by grace that we had the ability to get wealth. It is by credit that a lot of people had the ability to get wealth, because a lot of people don't have liquid cash. A lot of people don't have liquid cash to be able to get trucks. A lot of people don't have liquid cash to be able to pay their payroll. It's the credits that they got that allows them to pay their employees until they get debits. And guess what? It's a cycle, rinse and repeat. So God bless the ears that watch this. I'm going to tell you like this, man. This beautiful car right here, one of the best cars, my dream car. And guess what? It's only by the grace of God, because I can't afford none of this. If God don't give me sight, if God don't give me a brain, if God don't give me energy, I can't even ride in it. I can't enjoy that. So by the grace of God, I hope that this can help whoever watch this, for my young man, for my old man. Listen, we need to understand credit, because credit helps. Credit works. And if you utilize it the correct way, it can be very beneficial. God bless y'all. I'll see you on the next one. Peace. Find who you are, live in spirit, and find peace.
Our lives are meant to be legacies for somebody else, for generations to come. And we got to continue to walk after that and do things that are courageous.